to another episode of the world famous
Lume plotters.
Yeah.
I was going to say something funny, but I couldn't think of anything.
That's what we are today, the Lume plotters. And
we will be plotting about some Lume, yes.
And we are on a very exciting mission. It is a criticism of watch journalism. And the topic is, why is everything awesome all the time? And we have a very specific topic, and we are talking about not only that watch release itself, its importance, and also, of course, how it was being portrayed in the watch journals, in the watch magazines and the online magazines and YouTube and so on, as an example for how we see it, right?
Yeah.
And what is the general status or the landscape of watch journalism? Do we see a pattern? Is that something that's bothering people, or is it just the way it is at the moment?
Yeah. All right. So before we get into this too deeply, what are you wearing?
I am wearing today something extremely posh. I am wearing my Seiko SPB 451.
Which looks a lot like my... I don't know if you can see it. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you very small, but it's okay.
It is my Tudor Pelagos. I don't know if you've seen this one. The Pelagos 39. Yes. Ex-Ralph owned.
Yeah.
So
I must say, I actually, I really enjoy this watch, because even my wife saw it recently and said, wow, that's a very good-looking watch. I was like, whoa.
It is a very good-looking watch.
Nice.
It gives Pelagos vibes.
It does. Sure. And I think the case shape and all of the stuff is really good. Recently, I had an online argument, right? When people saying like, why would you buy this new Tudor Ranger, for example, when you can get a really nice Seiko Alpinist or Seiko, these kind of Seikos and stuff. And I said, for like 1/3 the price. And I was saying, like, look, guys, this is not the right comparison, right? One is like your Pelagos is a perfect example of that. You have a in-house movement with chronometer certification and additional -2 to +4 seconds a day guaranteed accuracy. You have 5 years of warranty. You have, obviously, just a better bracelet. You have, even in your case, you have an additional rubber strap on it with another pin buckle. The Ranger,
and it's titanium.
Yeah, but okay, that's in your case. But I mean, even if in the Ranger's case, you have the T-Fit clasp, you have a better bracelet, you would have the same in yours, and all of the stuff. So it's a different level of watch, right? Well, by no means the Seiko is bad. It's just on a different level. I mean, you might have the same power reserve. I have also 72 hours. It says proudly on the automatic 3 days on the display, on the dial. And so you have the same amount, but you have a lower beat rate. You have -15 to +25 seconds per day accuracy. That's rather rubbish, right? And and you have 2 years of warranty, I think, and it's not the same.
It is worse. It's not the same, and I've owned lots of Seikos, from the shittiest of the shitty to the highest of the high. If you look at my SKX, which was an absolute monster of a watch, I had the 007, all black, right?
Yeah.
But the case was, this was made in 1996 when it first came out, but still, the case was shit. The movement was shit. The bracelet was shit. Like everything was crap in it. But what did it do well? You could beat the bejesus out of it with nothing ever happening.
That is true. It's robust.
So it's a different animal, right? Now, if you're looking at these super high-end Seikos, the ones that are costing, I had the, the Navigator timer, the SBG 411.
Yeah.
And that one was 6,000 dirhams, which is, now we're talking half the price of a Tudor Ranger.
Yeah.
But it was still half the watch of a Tudor Ranger. If you look at the components, you look at the finishing, you look at the bracelet, you look at everything, it was just half as good. The movement was shit. the crystal, everything was just kind of like, yeah. And the Tudor really, for the price, takes it up a notch, right? What we can argue is that the jump from Rolex to Tudor is not big enough. Or not big enough to justify the prices that they demand. That is my thinking. However, jumping from a Seiko to Tudor, you will 100% notice the difference.
I think so too.
And this is coming from someone who sold 2 Rolexes for 2 Tudors. And I honestly, you put the 2 side by side, you just flip the clasp. I actually would argue that Tudor has some things that Rolex does not. Rolex uses stainless steel ball bearings for their flip lock.
Yeah, that's true.
Tudor uses ceramic.
Little ceramic balls, yeah.
Yeah, and the rotor is significantly quieter. My Explorer that I have now has this, I think it was 4 ball bearings that it's spinning, which are stainless steel. The Tudor has ceramic, also significantly less friction, significantly quieter. Sure, the Rolex is probably designed to last 30 years without being serviced. I don't know the longevity of these ceramic ball bearings and things like this. They could break, who knows? But
you would think that technically, because Tudor is a Rolex company. I mean, they're owned by Rolex or by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. They shared basically the offices in Geneva
for a while,
for the longest time before they moved out. Right? They're even produced at the same Rolex campus the whole time. So I think you can assume that the design idea behind the in-house movement from Kenissi/Tudor is the same as with Rolex. You want to reduce the service intervals to 10 years, roughly. You want to have very robust movements that last very long because it just helps you in the long run. So,
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, nothing to do with our topic today, by the way.
Yes.
What we do have to do is both of us are wearing dive watches.
Correct.
And that has
and mine even has divers 200 meter on the dial.
Mine's just 200 meters.
Which means that is actually a proper diver spec watch based on the ISO rating. And that means that it's 200 and what? 20?
50.
250 meters.
40,
20% extra, right? 225, something like that.
How much is it? What did I say? Yeah, 225 is...
No, it must be 250 then. Yeah.
What did I say?
225.
Oh, whatever.
It doesn't matter, anyway, really. It is above that, tested above that. So it means that...
However, mine also is fitting into the ISO certifications. However, Tudor does not feel the need to let you know.
Yeah. So what we're actually talking about is a watch with 600 meters water resistance. And that is the Planet Ocean, the Omega Planet Ocean. And
the 4th gen, I believe it is, Planet Ocean, right?
Is it? Yeah, it's possible.
4th or 5th?
4th or 3rd
something
gen?
like this.
Know. It doesn't matter.
It's the 3rd?
It's the current gen. Let's say it this way.
It's the brand new one that just came out.
Yeah, and I was at the launch in 4th generation, exactly. And I was at the launch in the Dubai Mall where they brought, and now that is important for later, Jean Breuer from Fratello Watches.
Oh, RJ,
yeah.
Robert Jan.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Robert Jan. RJ Breuer from Fratello Watches. And of course, that is interesting. When you bring somebody from the watch journalism side to a launch of a watch, then, well, how independent are these? I mean, it was like a special guest, right? So,
yes, but this is not the first time. You look at the launch of the MBNF that architect that happened a couple of years ago, right? When it, also in Dubai, and everybody came to Dubai for it. You look at the Hamilton when they launched the white Murph, I think it was. They sent it was the Expedition. Yeah. They took everyone to Banff in Canada, and Adrian Barker and all of the people were in Canada. And this is obviously most of the time, these are guys that are wined and dined and maybe they pay for their own hotel, maybe they pay for their own airfare, but they're definitely being pandered to.
Yes, and I think to a certain extent that loses a bit, of course, of the independence then. But that's okay. That's a topic for another direction, for later on. But what I found interesting that is that we were invited and not being invited as press. We were invited as VIPs. So to say, I mean, I feel, of course, very special, but we were not invited as press. But RJ was there to present the new designs together with Omega and be there for questions and mingle.
And RJ is basically a huge fanboy of Omega to begin with, right? He's the foremost expert on Speedmasters.
And hasn't he created Speedy Tuesday?
He did. He created Speedy Tuesday, which shows you he's very kind of linked with Omega.
Yeah.
So, but he's not a dive watch guy.
No, but you had him. Obviously, Omega had him in the vicinity because he was attending Dubai Watch Week. So probably they thought, hey, let's do two things, right? And of course, Omega is not part of Dubai Watch Week. They didn't exhibit there. None of the Swatch Group brands did, while a few of the Richemont Group brands did. Not all of them, but I think next time we will have all of them on Dubai Watch Week. But this time it was only Arlang & Söhne, Roger Dubois. And I'm not so sure, was Panerai there? No, I don't think so, right? Were they? No. I don't know. I can't remember even. But at least there were at least two. But of course there were a few missing, Panerai, IWC, and so on. So Cartier missing.
Cartier, yeah, of course, the big one.
So the big ones. So let's see what happens. But again, coming back to the Planet Ocean, 600 meters. I had it on my wrist. I shared some pictures. I liked it a lot on my wrist. I wasn't so sure from the pictures itself. I like that it's slimmer. I like that it's smaller. I like the new bracelet. But on the pictures, I wasn't so sure. But on the hand, on the wrist, it actually looked really nice. And when I showed it again to my wife, who always is the absolute voice of reason, she said, looks like every other dive watch. And I thought, yeah, of course, but yeah. And she also said, it looks a bit like a Submariner. And I thought, yeah, well, I don't know. It is.
I don't know about that one.
It is when you think of a dive watch just looking like, just having, then we can say like the Opelagos and my, as you said, basically in the beginning, we are wearing similar watches, even though
we're not.
Yeah. I mean, it's for watch nerds. There are a lot of differences. For non-watch nerds, they look the same.
It's the same, same shit, different day. So
yeah.
Let me talk about this before we get into what everyone else says. I have not tried the watch.
Okay.
I have seen everything that has come out about it, essentially read up on it. First things first, would I pay 36,000 dirhams for an Omega? Hell to the no. There is no way I would pay that kind of money for this watch. Will it be 20,000 dirhams in a few years' time? Absolutely, 100%. I mean, look at what happened with the No Time to Die, came out at the same price point. Now you can get them all day long for 20,000, 25,000 dirhams. And that's titanium.
Yeah.
And it's a limited edition or a, special edition, I should say. But let's take the price out of the equation and talk about the watch itself. It is clear that that Omega is trying to move up again and try to target their Rolex, counterparts. But is the watch as good as a Rolex? I guarantee you it's going to be as good, if not better, than its Rolex counterpart. But what I want to talk about is the styling, right? That's what we're here for. So first and foremost, no date, immediate tick box for me, right?
Yeah.
It's smaller. The current Seamaster Professional 300 has a lug-to-lug of 50 millimeters. This one is down to 47, 48, which is significantly smaller than the old one, or the old baby one, right?
Yeah.
So this now tells me two things. You are not going to have a base model that is bigger than the big brother. So I guarantee you we are going to see a smaller Seamaster 300 coming with this same design language. Because if we look at the sizing, right? The sizing has come down. Old Planet Oceans you got in two sizes. I think one was a 44.5.
Yeah, something like that.
Then it went down like a 43.5. Now we're at a 42. So there's clearly a downward trend. Yes, there was a 39 millimeter one for a while, 38.5, but that disappeared quickly.
Yeah.
Now, look at this one's big brother. If you look at the deep sea, or not deep sea, what the hell is it? Ultra deep. It is the same design language. The only difference is that it is on a strap and not a bracelet. But looking at the watch, you can tell exactly where this new design style came from. In addition, let's argue that we go back to the Ultra Deep and say, where did this design language come from? If we look back at the Ploprof, there is so many similarities between the Ploprof, the Ultra Deep, and the Planet Ocean that there's clearly being a new design language introduced into the Seamaster line. A lot of people don't like this. I think it's totally fine. I think up until now, there's been a lot of discrepancies in the different types of dive watches that Omega offers. And I think, yeah, do the Rolex thing and kind of make them all look similar and then offer them in terms of depth rating, right? Or how gnarly do you want your dive watch? So there's a lot to kind of unpack here with this idea. But everything they did correctly.
Yeah.
They went in the right direction. Everyone wanted the helium escape valve gone because, once again, it's a useless thing. Not even 1% of Seamaster buyers have probably ever been in a
decompression
dive bell
chamber.
or decompression. Yeah. So there's no point to it. So get rid of it. The wave dial and stuff like this, once again, it's never been on the Planet Ocean. I would love to see this exact design style, this weird angular design with the wave dial on it. I think it would be super cool. But there's quite a bit going on. I think it's a fantastic watch. The orange is hideous, but that's their color, right? The orange one is the ugliest one. The black and the blue bezel, fantastic looking watches. I think we will get more colors down the line as well. But that blue one, and the fact that they even changed the numerals, the colors of the numerals for each of the different watches. So if you get the orange bezel, you get orange numerals.
Yeah.
If you get a blue bezel, you get white numerals. And if you get the black bezel, you get chrome numerals, which is pretty cool. So they really tried to make each one unique in its own way.
I think,
so, I like it.
Yeah. I think,
and I'm extremely negative all the freaking time.
Yes, I think having it in my hand and having played with it, I was immediately thinking, that's a nice watch. It's a very nice watch. Is it a 36,000 dirham watch? I can see why it is. They're putting the price up there, but I do feel prices are going just stratospherically off at the moment in all different watch brands. I mean, everybody, even the independents and the micro brands, I think nearly everybody just tries to push the prices to wherever they can. You can talk about whatever, the tariffs and whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's just everywhere the watches are very expensive in every brand. And I'm not a fan of this. I think there's a point of having different price points, right? And when you see the new Seamaster will also move up again in price, right? I mean, you already see the new Seamaster 300, right?
The one with the aluminum bezel.
Yeah. Is it?
That one already moved up.
The 300, is this the one with the one that came out in orange, right?
Well, it came out in August, but
yes, exactly.
It was not really, right? It was just a freaking bezel switch and a few other no date.
No date, yeah.
By the way, it shows you that no date apparently is the way forward, I'm thinking.
Maybe. I mean, at least an option. Black oxalic anodized aluminium bezel ring. So anyhow, so you're basically removing features and charging
and
more.
Increasing the price. Yes, so exactly.
This was, and I have pounds in front of me. It's 5,800 pounds for whatever reason. This new Seamaster on the rubber strap, right? If you're going to get this the watch. I don't know if it came.
The before it one with the way
it came on this Milanese bracelet as well, right? So that's
it did, but it was more expensive.
Yeah,
with the Milanese.
£6,100. Let's say that in the British version, because I
with
have both.
aluminum bezel, or as you say in British, aluminium, and no date.
Yeah. So you have the same Seamaster Planet Ocean 600 for 7,700, also with a steel bracelet, not mesh, of course, but with a steel bracelet. So that's £1,600 difference, which is a nice.
But we're comparing apples to oranges here.
No, I'm just saying this is the step
generation.
up, right? It's from the Seamaster.
Wait
to
till the new 300 comes out, and that will close the gap. Don't you worry about it.
Maybe that's my question.
Not maybe, it will. It will.
Will it? Because if you,
I guarantee you, the new Seamaster will be a 30,000 dirham watch.
Because
100%.
If you're taking just the normal one, and this is again the funny thing is the normal Seamaster 300M on a steel bracelet, just a normal steel
with a
version,
ceramic bezel
with a ceramic
and
bezel
a ceramic dial
and a date, is £5,600. So there we have then £2,100 difference. Am I right?
Which doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's a £500 difference between the previous better Seamaster 300 and the new less better Seamaster. So it doesn't make any sense, because in every measurable aspect, you're getting shittier materials,
yes,
a worse complication,
yes,
right? Okay, I love no date, but still, I know that putting a date window and a date disc and a date complication to something. Look at Rolex. It costs more by $1,000 or £1,000 to go from a sub date or to a sub no date, or vice versa, right? Sub no date to a sub date. So people pay for this.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense what they're doing here.
Yeah. I mean, and they are the same size. The Planet Ocean is 42. The Seamaster Diver 300 is 42. So
the new one will be 40, and it will be more expensive, and it will, God knows what it'll have. But the one thing I forgot to mention that I despise from the new Planet Ocean, which once again, as soon as you get it on a rubber strap, or you wear it on a NATO, it wouldn't be an issue. Polished center links on an ultra tool watch.
Yeah, that's of course a lot of people have complained about that. And these are polished like you haven't seen polishing before. I mean, this is like Grand Seiko level polishing. I mean, it's really a mirror finish, right? It is. And because,
but once again, 20 millimeter lugs, it doesn't matter. You put your freaking NATO strap on it and it's golden.
What I want to say is they are flat because it's a flat link bracelet. So you have really a lot of reflective surface. While you have with the Oyster bracelet, for example, you have polished links, but you're not seeing yourself in it. You know what I mean? Because there's a slight curvature on them. But these guys are flat. So that means you really, really have a lot of reflections there of actual things you can see. So it's very... Yeah. But what do you think about the dial? I think when you look at the watch now on the screen, do you have it in front of you on the screen?
No, I have it in my mind's eye.
Okay.
I didn't know we had homework to open a picture here.
Don't you think if you open omegawatches.com and you put it on the screen, don't you think that the dial just looks strangely small because they have tried to cramp everything inside? The Planet Ocean, I think, for example, you have on the dial, it is basically an index at 12 o'clock. The 12 o'clock.
Hold on, I still haven't even found it.
Yeah. So
because all I'm getting is the old one.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, just have a look at the dial itself, because you have you have a small little index, then you have the 12, then you have the Omega logo, then you have the Omega's name, then you have the Speedmaster,
Seamaster.
Seamaster, and what else does it say there?
Seamaster, professional. Then it says coaxial.
And then, but then basically you have already the stem right in the middle. So you have everything full of text until the hands start. And then on the bottom, you have coaxial master chronometer and the depth rating, which is fine. And then the 6 and then the index. I think there is just too much crammed in. If they would have, wait a second. If they have left, because it looks small now, the dial, because there's so much going on, and they have made it smaller with the numbers that are also the numerals that are also in there. There's
The dial
indexes.
is small.
It is small, yeah, but it looks even smaller because they have put everything they had before in a much smaller space. You know what I mean?
Not just that, the bezel itself is super fat.
Yeah. And
So that means that it's going to be a significantly, more cramped dial, but I like it. I think it looks good. And then on top of that, this freaking crystal, this domed crystal sapphire that they put on it looks cool. The flat, the back of the case does not have anything on it anymore. That looks cool.
it just has the seahorse on it, right?
Exactly. It's just a laser engraved seahorse
But
on a flat back.
that's why I think they managed to get this watch so slim, because it's now 13.79 millimeters, which is just a smidgen. Not even.
And the
even
crystal
0.2.
does dome up
It is really,
a little bit.
So it's like 0.2 of a millimeter. So 0.2 of a millimeter thicker than the Seamaster 300, and has double the depth rating. So it's pretty good. I must say, I think it's pretty good. But
I'm here looking at this picture from Omega, and there's a very strange looking image. I will send it to you now in iMessages just so you can take a look at this, because I don't understand what's going on. In one picture, it has a flat crystal, and the other picture has a domed crystal. And that's weird. Also, it has 21 millimeter lugs, not 20. So I apologize for my NATO strap comment. Apparently, you cannot wear NATO straps with this unless you want to have a 1 millimeter.
it has this little thing. But also,
No, but do you see my picture?
yeah.
In one case, flat. In the other case, fully domed.
I think that's probably rendered, and
Something ain't right.
something is not right. Yeah, you're right. I think these are probably render pictures, so you don't know for sure. But it is domed, I think, right? That's what they said. I can't remember.
If you look at the flat one, it is domed by about 1 millimeter, and then it's flat on top. So it does protrude past the bezel.
Yeah, I'll just take a look at my pictures that I shot while I was wearing the watch, because obviously that's the real deal, right?
And I have the prices here. Oh, Jesus. Almighty Christ, how much? So if you want, I don't understand this at all, but there are differences in price between colors.
Yeah, of course.
So if you want the blue or black dial on a rubber strap, it's 33,850 dirhams. If you want the orange one with the orange rubber strap, once again, same watch, same rubber strap, different color, 35,000 dirhams. So you're looking at a difference of 1,100 dirhams there. And then if you want it on a bracelet,
Which
I thought it was a 35,000 dirham watch.
yeah. So
It is, if you want orange, 37,800.
in which color was that?
Orange.
In orange. Okay.
Orange bracelet. So it's well above
Yeah.
35K.
But you know what? And that's the thing. I think once you go in that level, you go in that level. Why the colors are more expensive? Because they probably think the most popular one should have a premium.
Orange. Orange is not going to be the most popular. Oh, we forgot to mention the titanium aspect.
I think so. I think orange is really nice. I think they might like it. The people might like it. Because orange, it's a bit of a different orange a bit, right? So it doesn't look as... I mean, even on my pictures, it looks a bit more like a burnt orange rather than a bright orange, right? But you're right. It's a 300 pound, even in the British side. It's 300.
Which is a bit...
It's a big jump.
Yeah. So, and the once again, yes, it is a stainless steel case, but apparently it has some kind of a inner titanium ring, which
that's why they don't need the helium escape valve anymore. So
like the Ploprof.
Yeah, but I spoke to people who actually know that stuff, and they're saying it's not actually really that easy. So while the Ploprof might have the material and all of the stuff, I mean, there is not really, helium might get still in because you can't seal it that perfectly fine. They might say it. Will anybody ever try it? Probably not.
No.
So I guess it's moot in any ways to have this discussion. But some people say like, no. I mean, helium, you cannot actually make it so tight because you still have a crown. I mean, even if that's screwed down and all of this stuff, but it's just, there's, helium is very, very small molecules, so that they might come in. Teeny tiny. But I wanted to check, I did check the technical references, and it is a flat crystal.
So there you have it.
Yeah, it's not domed.
Picture on Omega's website is not correct.
Yes. But hey, what can you do? And
it's domed to the point where it looks like the freaking Rolex Deep Sea, the Challenge one that had the ridiculous domed crystal.
But if you look at the other pictures now,
the other ones were fine. Only one picture was messed up.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the movement? Wouldn't it have had? I mean, isn't there a time when you say like, okay, maybe that could have been a nice moment to also upgrade the movement to, let's say, the 70 hours? They are already at 60, right? It's very close. But
I could care less, honestly. I'm not a movement buff. If it's chronometer, in this case, it's master chronometer, as long as it's more than a 40 some odd hour, I don't care. If it was 100 hour, 120 hour, I would notice, but I wouldn't, write home about it. I don't think that power reserve is the as big of a deal as people make it out to be. When Oris released their new movement, the Caliber 400, the main selling point, besides the 10-year warranty and the 10-year service interval, was the 5-day power reserve.
Yes,
right?
Yes, for sure. And I think,
care? I don't care.
You don't care.
No, I just don't, because there's a lot of things I would care about. I would like it. The more accurate you get, I think that's cool. The higher the beat rate, that's cool. Do I really care if it's going to have 4 or 5 day?
The 70 hours are nice. It's like the new standard. 70 to 80 hours is the new standard. And with 60, they were nice because they were ahead of Rolex for longest time, but now they are behind everybody basically. So I think it's time for them to just make it. And we know that the Swatch Group can do it. Like, look at the Blancpain movements. They have 120 hours for the last, 15 years or so, right? Or longer. I don't know. No, not longer. Something like that, right? So you can do it. They can do it. And you can do it flat in a small movement. It's just, do they want to? Maybe they don't want to.
I was watching something just today, talking about this. The bigger the power reserve, the thicker the case will get, ultimately, because you have to increase the size of the spring.
You might, or you have just 2 barrels like Omega already uses.
You could do 2 barrels,
and
but then that increases complexity and component count.
Yeah, but look, Rolex can do it, and they haven't even reduced the beat rate, which Omega has, right?
For which one?
So they don't, that movement, this, what is it, a 912, does not tick at 28,800.
And what Rolex has 2 barrels?
They don't. What I'm saying is they don't need it. They can even do it with 1 barrel. That's my point. But you can use multiple barrels, but the Omegas have 2 barrels and only 60.
The Oris has 2 barrels for 120, right? The one we just talked about, the Caliber 400 is 2 barrel, but then they have their 10-day with a single barrel.
But my 1315 movement from Blancpain has 3 barrels and had 120 hours, and it was not thick from a movement perspective. But
but it gets more complicated. Is all that we know.
But my point here is, they have 60 hours and they have the reduced frequency of 25,200 beats per hour. So it's 25,200 instead of, so 3.5 hertz instead of 4 hertz, like all the Rolexes. Or now the Land Dweller even has 36.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
They got the high beat. So as I told you, high beat is an added value for me.
But they have low beat
I
and
do like
lower,
that.
lower power reserve.
Low
I'm just
beat,
saying they could do something, right? They could do something.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah. But
All right.
anyhow, so I think from general,
let's get into the topic.
It's a good release. I love the watch. It feels nice. It wears nice. Would I consider the black on black version instead of a Submariner? Maybe, because it does have a very cool look on it and on your wrist. And you look at your hand when you wear this watch and you think, yeah, that's cool. It looks nice. It is, of course, a bit more flashy because you have the polished center links. It does look different and it is nice. It is just a very nice watch.
I just don't know who's going to buy it because I'm not going to buy it. You're not going to buy it. Yeah. For this price, a lot of people aren't going to buy it. This is the issue is every single time I hear the word Omega, I like Omega. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. However, talk to me 2 years after you bought your watch and try to sell it and see how much it's worth, right?
Correct.
And Omega tanks its value because they're artificially inflating these prices up. And up and up and up and up and up. And you cannot get the money that you put into it. And this is the issue. I watched I don't remember what it was. It was a clip from a movie or a show. And it was exactly this. Somebody had a Planet Ocean or a Seamaster and was trying to sell it at a pawn shop. And they're like, I have no interest in it.
Yeah.
And this is the problem that you get to. If it was a Rolex, people would want it, right? And this is really funny because apparently I don't know if I sent this to you, but there was one of these guys, one of these watch people that said Rolexes, his friend calls them helicopter watches. So essentially, if you are, end of the world, freaking, shit's going down, things are blowing up around you, and there's a US or whatever helicopter, a military helicopter, and you go up to it and they're like evacuating people, right?
You can buy your seat on the plane.
He said, but the thing is, he said, who's going to be at the helm? Who's going to be letting people in? It's going to be some 20-year-old kid from Kentucky, right? And he has no idea what the hell an Omega Planet Ocean is or what an Zona is or any of this. But he will know what a GMT is and he will know what a Submariner is. And therefore, he will let you in with those, but he's not going to take anything else.
If you can bribe the Kentucky person, the soldier there, which is doubtful. But I think this myth that this is your ticket home wherever you are getting stranded. Yeah, maybe it's true. Maybe a couple of people have actually done this. Maybe not. Maybe.
And the funny thing is, if you watch WOE, the Watches of Espionage YouTube channel, the guy's an actual CIA, case operative. And funnily enough, he was at Dubai Watch Week, but nobody knows what he looks like. So in every picture, he has his face blacked out. But he took a picture with Cole Pennington at the Tudor booth because he was wearing a vintage Tudor sub. But point of my story is, even them, they were told, take a Rolex with you. That was one of their core training principles is always have a bartering chip. They said, have a Rolex, they said $300 in cash in different, denominations or currencies and a few other things. They said, always bring these things with you because you never know when you need it.
Okay.
But when asked, did anyone actually get picked up by a helicopter? No one knows.
Exactly.
So,
it's a nice story. Nobody has like a confirmed one, but yeah. But my point is here, with the price, you're right. I mean, the Planet Ocean, which is not the direct competitor to the Submariner, is 7,700 in black, right? Pounds. Sorry, I'm just again in pounds. 7,700 pounds in black. And the Submariner is without date. So the normal Submariner is 8,100 pounds. So the Omega Planet Ocean, which is the higher level of not the direct,
which is compared to the Sea Dweller,
is cheaper than the Submariner. So they are still cheaper than the entry into the dive watch realm from Rolex with the second level of their own dive watch right?
And this does matter.
Yes, I think it matters. I think it's...
You have 8,000 pounds burning a hole in your pocket. Do you want the base model Rolex or the second tier, fancier Omega? And this is true. This is kind of the same issue with the Chinese cars that are going on right now, right? Yeah, you can buy a Japanese car, but for the same price, you can get yourself a fancier Chinese car. Obviously, that's... Yeah, we'll ignore the differences for now, but this is kind of how all of these, this is how the Japanese started in the 80s.
You have this everywhere. You have this in hospitality too. Do you go in a 4-star hotel and you get the presidential suite in the 4-star hotel? Or do you go in a 5-star hotel and you get a small entry-level room? Right? It's always a trade-in. I mean, you always have to understand what is better for me. Right? And I think this is the same as you said in cars. Do you want BMW? Do you want the top of the line or a very well spec'd 3 Series, or do you want an entry level 5 Series? Same price.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to
you always have to make this decision, right? And fun fact, I saw a little clip, a little reel on Instagram, and you know how when you go to the car service and they always ask you, do you want original parts or Chinese parts, right? This is a thing they always ask you, original parts or Chinese parts.
No.
And
not where I go. They always
apparently
use
someone
original.
went with their jet tour and they asked him, do you want original parts or Chinese parts? The whole car is Chinese.
Sorry guys, you have to change your spiel, right? You have to do it differently now.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
I know. And half the Chinese parts come from Korea anyway, when they told me Chinese parts for the Pajero, I ended up and I saw the boxes and it's all said made in Korea on it. So,
so that's basically what we think about the watch. I think we have done that. You hailed the amount that they have a closed case back now. I feel it's a bit odd. It's a step back to a certain extent, but I understand why, because they wanted to make it slimmer.
Slimmer, exactly.
Totally fine. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. But now, coming to our real topic, or let's say not the real topic, but the topic that we wanted to talk about, we have looked at different releases, reports, reviews of that
11
watch.
of them.
Yes, exactly. We have gone to Fratello, reviews. Monochrome, Hodinkee, a Block to Watch. Well, a Block to Watch doesn't really have yet a review of that particular watch, so we have to keep that in mind. Revolution, Time and Watches, a watch collecting lifestyle, or what it is called, the 1916 company, the Watch Guys, Watch Advice, and Precision Watches. So we looked at all of these different reviews. And we have looked at what is generally the criticism of it, because we wanted to talk about, is watch journalism, the proper watch journalism, dead? Because everybody is in the pocket, needs certain of the big conglomerates of the brands. They need invites to the events. They want to come or, want to have factory tours. They want to get advertising on their platforms. So do they actually really speak their mind? Let's say it this way.
Yeah.
I'm in a WhatsApp group together, for example, with a Block to Watch, and my goodness, they have really piled on how much they don't like that watch, right? I don't know if they will
the Planet Ocean.
Yeah, the Planet Ocean. I don't know if they will put it on. I mean, in this case, it was one person, but if they will put it in the review, if that person writes the review, he will probably do it, because they are known to be pretty open when they don't like something. Now, Hodinkee, for example, and we can actually reveal this at the first one, because we had AI rank these articles that we had by the criticism level of how much do they criticize, how positive are they, or how negative are they about this watch, just to see what's the critical tone, right? And who was the most positive? What do you think?
Obviously, Hodinkee. But remember,
yes,
Ben Clymer has said this from the very beginning when he started Hodinkee.
Yes.
He said, if it's bad, I'm just not going to write about it.
Yeah, and this is one of the criticisms you also have. This is journalism that is very selective. So it's a very important watch, right? This watch.
Yeah.
And there are equally other important watches that you might not like, but you need to cover it, because if you are a magazine, a watch magazine, or a publication or an online forum, you cannot just say, I have no opinion, or I'm not publishing an opinion because I don't like it. I think it's to a certain extent as a journalistic outlet.
So they should say bad things like we do, like
yes,
I do.
They should speak their mind. They should say, okay, it's not our cup of tea. We don't like it, right? And it is fine. I think if you had more outlets doing this, that would be accepted. Because I heard from a lot of people, they saying not writing about something is worse than giving us a bad review. So some brands really don't mind that you don't like that particular watch, because you might like the next one, right? So it's not really the end of the world. You can say it. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you tear it apart and say that's the ugliest piece of metal that anybody has ever strapped to their wrist or something. You can just say what you don't like. You don't have to be overly aggressive about it. You know what I mean? You can just pack it nicely.
I don't. I'm always overly aggressive.
Yes, I know.
So it's either I hate it or I like it. There's no in between.
So funny enough, of course, Hodinkee is now owned by the Watches of Switzerland. They want to sell watches. Even more so now than before. It's very positive. Then you have Precision Watches, Watch Guys, Watch Advice, the 1916 company, and then Revolution. And this is like going into more and more and more criticism, right? And then you go into Time and Watches, Fratello, and now we're getting into the top 3 most critical ones. And usually it's a Blog to Watch in the top 3, but again, they haven't reviewed this watch yet while we're recording it. Then there's Monochrome, and the most critical was Watch Collecting Lifestyle. And Watch Collecting Lifestyle is also can be extremely positive, right? They are just probably not yet really in that pocket. I do think they have some association with pre-owned, right? Dealers.
I have no idea. I don't. No, I'm not familiar.
Okay.
But for instance, Monochrome. I know that Monochrome has extremely positive things to say about a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And they were number 2 on the most negative about this watch list, about how it was. Yeah. They lost all the features of the old one and the identity, and it became more expensive.
Is the article for Monochrome negative? No. Right? It is not a negative, how do you say that, article, but it is the most critical from the biggest groups. And that's important, I think. And that's, I think, something that I really appreciate. And I think also the readers appreciate that you actually highlight what's bad on this watch. And that's, I think it is, again, it's important. They are saying, okay, you lose features. You have no date, if that's important for you. You don't have the helium escape valve. You don't have the transparent case back anymore. You have a higher price. And all of the stuff that could actually affect especially the people who are usually the ones that really like watches like this, the fans, the hardcore fans, really, right? So, I think it's good.
I'm looking at your sources here.
Yeah.
As an academic, ChatGPT used a Block to Watch article. It's quoted 2023.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They haven't reviewed that watch yet.
Yeah, so how is ChatGPT saying that why is it using an old source?
Because they just look at the
shows you how
planet Ocean, because they're not smart.
The rest are all 2025 from November 2025, so those are all correct. But as you said, with this one, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah. But generally, Blog to Watch is very honest in their reviews, and Monochrome too. Fratello also usually is, but again, this is the surprise that we had, that we foreshadowed, that RJ, as a huge fan of Omega, has
a vested interest in Omega.
Yeah, has still in his, I don't know if he wrote it. I have to actually look at that, but I don't think he did. It doesn't matter. It is there. So they have a bit of a mixed opinion about it because they're saying this is good, this is bad. And which is, I think, as a journalist, you have to do. I mean, we are here in opinion pieces, right? To a certain extent, because it's a review.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the news, then...
He did not write the article.
Okay, he did not. Okay, good.
Nacho Conde Garzón.
Yeah, I like him. Nacho is
Nacho
good.
wrote it.
Actually, I like all of the guys there.
And this brings me to my next point. We cannot, when we look at these larger publications...
Just let me finish my point with the news. If you report the news, then you shouldn't report of your own opinion, because that's just the facts, right? If you're reporting about a financial statement, you have the numbers speak for themselves. Everything that comes as an opinion of how you interpret things and how you like things, that's, of course, a review, an opinion piece. And we want their opinions because we want them to show the watch. And that's usually, could be two different articles, right? This is the watch. This is our opinion, right?
That's funny that you mention this, because guess who has done this? Hodinkee.
Mm-hmm.
Hodinkee always, back in the day, used to release 2 articles for every watch that they reviewed. One was the first or initial impressions, and the other one was the week on the wrist.
Right.
And the week on the wrist would be the personal, this is my opinion, I wore the damn thing for a week. And then the initial impressions were always like, it is 42.5 millimeters thick.
It's reporting of facts.
Right? It was more facts, exactly. And I think that is a good way of doing this. But now, my point was, if you have one of these companies that has employed 15 different writers, each writer is going to be more positive or negative than the other. So yet they're publishing to the same outlet. And this will have an impact if we choose one article that's written by person A. Let's say we have the Lume Plotters magazine, and you choose an article written by Ralph, and it's extremely positive, and you choose an article written by Martin, which is extremely negative. That will, of course, impact if I'm comparing Ralph's thoughts to all of the other thoughts on that watch. He's extremely positive all the time. But if you compare my thoughts, I'm going to be at the bottom end because I'm always negative. And so this is the other issue, is we cannot narrow it down to it just being one individual.
But we have this sometimes with some publications. I don't know if that's who did this. Wasn't it Fratello who actually had this, where they said, these are our opinions, the opinions of the editorial group. And they're saying, this guy loves it. This guy hates it. This guy, neutral, right? So you had different opinions. I mean, of course, they don't do this about every watch because there's too many nowadays. But very often you have this, that they also have just different views and different viewpoints. Yeah. Which also shows us, I mean, as watch community, we know that everybody has 5 different opinions. You know, you have 3 people, 5 opinions. That's how it works in the watch community, right? Then you have... So I think...
But I agree. But in order for us to be fully transparent and fair, you need to take 10 more watch releases, do the same analysis for each one, compound that into a meta-analysis, and then see where all of these guys rank in terms of most critically positive or negative. And that would then give us a more accurate, we can't just say Hodinkee is positive if we only took one article.
No, that's true.
Yes, we know that they're generally very positive. And if we took 10 more watch releases and ranked them, I'm sure they still would be there. But I think in fairness, we should do that. And we should put this together. Now that we had a bunch of releases from Dubai Watch Week, we take these, let's say 10 different outlets, and we put all this together for 10 different watches and see what happens when we average out the numbers. Okay. That is my opinion.
I am just asking here my favorite AI at the moment, which watch online magazines are generally the most positive in their watch reviews and which ones are the most critical. And let's see what it comes up with.
Yes.
And it is computing, it is thinking, and it's analyzing watch magazines to identify everything. which I don't know how long it takes. Probably a few days, maybe a few months.
Yeah. It's already done.
Now it's reading. Okay. It's
Meanwhile,
done. Yeah, wait. It says the most positive watch online magazines include a blog to watch for dinky and monochrome watches known for their enthusiastic coverage and admiration-driven reviews. These outlets often highlight design strength, technical details, blah, 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 blah. Truly critical reviews remain scarce across major sites, with The Truth About Watches and Watches by SJX offering rarer analytical critiques. For balanced perspectives, sites like One and Wound and Fratello Watches mix positive with honest notes and limitations. Okay, interesting. So we
could have just done that. We've answered our own question.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I've always felt a blog to watch to be a bit more on the balanced side, or even sometimes the critical side.
I've told you my opinion of what's his name, Ariel Adam or whatever. No, Ariel Adam is a car. Ariel Adams, right? Yeah. The Ariel Adam is the little tube chassis, little go-kart thing. Yeah. Now, I stopped watching a blog to watch, I think 2017, 18-ish, when Ariel Adams, whatever his name is. Is it Ariel Adams?
Ariel Adams, yes.
It is, okay. When he started doing the paid reviews, and he would mix them in, this was before YouTube had the algorithm to tell you something was paid or not. And they didn't have the necessity to tell you. And you would have to figure this out on your own as a content, consumer. And I was watching a bunch of videos and I was like, okay, he has good thoughts about a bunch of things. Yeah. And I came across some absolute crap, quartz, nonsense, Daniel Wellington level, piece of garbage. And he was like, this is a great watch. Oh, it's wonderful. And I realized that this is a paid advert. And
at this stage, I have to say, I'm sometimes still appearing in their blog to watches group discussions and their online, their live streams at YouTube. So I am still part of some of the WhatsApp groups where we discuss things there. And I must say they have honest opinions. And they are, I think, from that standpoint, when it's mentioned that it's actually an advertorial, how do you call it? Advertorial?
Advertisement.
Yeah, so it's like it's an advertisement, but written by them. And as well, you have this sometimes in their own podcast when Ariel Adams is narrating the advertisement for the brand inside the podcast, right? The sponsor, maybe. So, yeah.
Yes, but back then you didn't have. So some people did this voluntarily, and some people didn't, and tried to kind of mix it amongst other reviews. And this was the issue that once again shows you if you kind of are dishonest to consumers. And this was one instance. You might lose a consumer for life. Like, I'm still upset by this thing that happened 10 years ago, and I'm not upset by any means. You know what I mean? If there's another video, I would watch it. But it has absolutely 100% changed my opinion of that outlet.
Yeah, look, I know these people, so I'm a bit more friendly, I think, in my viewpoint there. But I see your point. I think the point is absolutely there, and you should be careful. What I really like about a blog to watch is that they really do nowadays have the sponsored posts have a big red sponsored post on them, right? So if it's a sponsored post, you will see it. And there are a lot of sponsored posts, right? Which is sometimes surprising to see this, right? But hey, I think it's they have to make a living, obviously, and it's normal that you do this. But yeah, I think it's good that it's now clearer, identifiable what is a sponsored post and what is not.
Of course, and I agree with this. This was also rubbed in a little bit when this must have been like 2018-ish when this happened, when I saw that video, and it was very, how do I say it? It was, they were trying to get people to buy this watch 100% without them knowing it was a review. But immediately after, in that Dubai Watch Week, Ariel Adams did a talk about honesty in watch reviews. And I was like, alarm bells going off in my head, because how can someone who just a couple weeks ago did this come sit in front of a group of people and talk about honesty?
Yeah, because I think for him it's like a review, right? Is not a normal article.
Yeah.
So if you look at, for example, their website, if you look at their website, let's say, and you look at the reviews, right? They're not sponsored.
Yes, but if you're New York Times, you're not putting in freaking advertisements that look exactly like a fake, article either.
Yeah, that's
and this
true.
is what a lot of these people are doing. Is they're literally next to, the new Planet Ocean. They'll be like the new Timex, blah blah blah, and the Timex one will be sponsored, and that is sketchy. And this is not just limited to Ariel Adams and Blog to Watch. We've seen this on Hodinkee. We've seen this on a whole bunch of other places, and I just don't like
it comes
this.
Actually from the press centers or the press people at the brands to say like, hey, maybe we can just have, a nice editorial that looks like an article. You had this sometimes back in the days, even
the whole issue is that they trick people to thinking it's a real review.
Yeah. But they had this in magazines, right? When sometimes a magazine would basically write an article and publish this, like you buy a page in a magazine and you write an article that looks like a normal article from the structure. You have different columns of text and all of this stuff, but it's actually an advertisement. And then you had to put this little word advertisement on the bottom next to the page number or something, just to make sure that, hey, this is actually not real. I mean, this is not part of the magazine. This is not an opinion of the magazine. This is a part of an advertisement. So
yeah. And this is why you should listen to us, because we're honest, because we get no money from anything.
Yes. We
but
don't
if
get
you would
paid.
like to be reviewed positively, donate $20 to us and we will give you a glowing review live on the air here, right? We'll say, yes, Mike Tyson is a wonderful guy. We don't know him personally, but he's great.
Yeah, please don't.
And he has the best watch collection.
Please don't bite my ear. But the thing is, I think, so we don't take money, and that's of course makes that a bit independent. But we also have, have opinions. I'm generally a positive person. There are certain watches that I find really, really ugly, but on the other hand, I always have to say they are people behind these brands. You might question what were they thinking while designing this watch? What were they, which drugs were they on? But it is still something where there are people behind it, and you have to understand, especially now in this world where we are all on whatever, social media, on YouTube, and the comment section is the biggest cesspool of verbal abuse
hatred,
that you can think of. You are in the end talking to people. There are people behind the keyboards. There are people behind the text. So just be a bit mindful when you're letting go and running your mouth.
It's funny that you mentioned this, because I yesterday watched Independence Day, if you remember the movie from 1996 with Will Smith, and I thought to myself, nothing makes people that hate each other come together faster than an alien invasion. Like, people can hate each other as soon as there's an alien invasion, something coming from externally. Like, we're humans, everyone's the same, we're all good.
Suddenly we're all the same. Before that, it's like they and them and us.
Yeah, same thing in the comments. But anyway, so yes. Still,
so what we want
there are a lot of these.
What we want, I mean, my
honesty
requests on the watch journalists and the watch magazines and online forums and everything else that is actually, or the influencers. It's like, try to be as honest as you can, even if you're paid, right? Because just make the first step.
No, it's not about being honest. I'm sorry, it is about being honest, but it's not just about that. It's about, for instance, I remember that Adrian Barker did an ad for eBay watches. Mm-hmm. And they essentially gave him some money or said, buy something on eBay watches. And he went and he found the watch that he wanted, and he just, articled or journaled the experience of buying from this.
The process of buying.
That I can get behind. You got a free watch out of it. He's talking about how the ordering process went and how it was shipped to their, whatever, Tennessee factory or whatever. They did all their
certification,
inspections, certifications or whatever. And then they came to you. That's fine. And that is a great way of you as a watch journalist getting something that you actually want, because now you've bought yourself more reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition, you have provided a service of how something works, right? How reliable this service is. So there are good ways of doing paid reviews for sure.
Yeah.
And there's bad ways.
Yeah, I agree.
So is watch journalism honest? What do you think, Ralph?
Yeah, partially. I mean, you cannot generalize it. There are some outlets who are more honest than others.
It was a yes or no question. Partially is not an acceptable answer.
So then, yes, there are some. I mean, you cannot negate it, right? You can say not no if there are some of them that are honest. So
I guess.
Yeah, I think it has gotten a bit less because I think there is more and more commercialization in there. Right,
yes,
to shake like Sean Connery. But everybody who's starting out usually has a stronger opinion about things. And the more you actually get involved with the brands, and even, I mean, I've seen this with some of the reviewers, the influencers, when they start to get invited to let's say, a factory visit and stuff, and even from a brand they don't like, right? They go and see the brand they don't like, and they see all the people and all the hard work that goes into making these watches, and then they just appreciate that people doing all of this hard work. They still don't like the watches necessarily, but they are softening a bit because they're saying, these are real people, they have real jobs, they have families, they just want to put food on the table for everybody, and just me writing bad about them can be very detrimental.
It's not going to do anything good.
So sometimes you have to just tone it down a bit.
Yes.
But still being true to yourself.
Look at Roger Smith. Right? The guy's a legend. However, do you like any of the Roger Smith watches, the way they look?
For me, it's not my style in watches.
Exactly. It's not my style either. Yeah. However, I still appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it. Would I ever buy one?
I think this man is an absolute genius. Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't afford one either, so it's not my place to say anything. Yes. But it just shows you that we don't have to like something to actually appreciate it. But we've kind of done the same thing. We did a lot of interviews with brands in the past that we didn't know anything about or didn't really care for, and then we liked the brands after the interviews because of how well we got along or talked to
absolutely
their person, and the PR person or whoever it was.
Which again comes back to why Dubai Watch Week is such a nice and positive event, because everybody comes back from this event and says, I can't believe how nice people were most of the time.
You bought a watch specifically from Dubai Watch Week.
I even bought a watch. Yes, actually.
And would you have bought it if we wouldn't have talked to the owners?
Maybe not.
Exactly.
Maybe not. I think
that's for later. We'll talk about it later. But this is exactly how this works. I was about to pull the trigger on the same watch as well because I liked it as much too. But I just didn't have the money.
Yes.
I was thinking about what I could sell, and then I was like, do I really want another watch?
No, I think
I don't need.
Something has to go, but I'm seeing what will go. And of course, as a typical watchman, I already have a couple of other watches that I've not seen actually on this that are on my list because I've found some extremely interesting deals. But then again, something needs to go. Not so sure what. Yeah.
So anyway, on that bombshell, I think we didn't discover much.
We discovered that there is, watch journalism has its ups and downs, and we just appeal to everybody and say like, hey,
we knew this before we started this as well, so didn't really learn much. But anyway, so that being said, we'll see you next week, hopefully with one of our interviews.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. All right.
See you then.
Until
Bye-bye.
then, bye-bye.